Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Food Science on a Budget. My name is Catherine. I'm a Danish food scientist and powerlifter living in Vienna, Austria. Today is Monday, March the 23rd, and normally I would say I have a grocery haul for you today and I would turn you around and show you what I bought. But I've decided that this week will be a no-spend week on groceries, in the sense that it will be no spend out of pocket. So that means if I'm getting anything from the stores, it will either be using a coupon making it free, or that maybe I have some bottle deposit that I can return. I actually won something from Penny today that I went and picked up, but I don't suspect I'll go anywhere else this week, but if I do, I'll show you. But first of all, let me turn you around and show you what I got for free from Penny. So in the spin the wheel game that Penny has, I won this 12-pack of instant coffee that also contains creamer and sugar. And I picked it up today since I was walking almost right by a Penny. And normally it would have been €3.89, but as you see, I got it for free. Then, since I don't really have a grocery haul, I thought that for this video I could talk a little bit about how I'm meal planning this week, which is pretty similar to how I meal plan even on weeks when I do grocery sale. So I'll go through my breakfast options, what I usually have for lunch, and how we plan our dinners. So as you see, we're still pretty well stocked on cereal, so that's certainly a breakfast option. It's not one that I have or choose very often, with the exception of the oats that you see there in the back. Usually I will have them as oatmeal, and then I'll add a piece of fruit to the oatmeal. I always use milk when I cook it to up the protein content, and then I like to add maybe a little bit of egg white. I find that makes the oatmeal creamier. And then if I have some skin naturel or something like that I need to use up, I'll put a spoonful of that on top of the oatmeal after it's done. And I often also like to use either almonds or almond butter or something like that. But the key to making good oatmeal is to add a pinch of salt. In here I have the Nutella. Nutella is up here, some other spreads in the back here, as well as some honey, and I have a peanut butter that I had to put in a bag because it's leaking a little bit, and I can eat that with some bread. That's not something I do that often though. Sometimes for lunch I'll have bread. And for that, excuse me, we have some cheese. These will need to be eaten up. I noticed today when I had a slice that the edges have gone a little bit dry. I'm not really a huge fan of these new packaging where it doesn't really close properly. So I'll make sure that this is eaten up tomorrow. I'll probably cut off the dry edges, and then my husband can have those as part of his lunch. Also have another big thing of cheese. That's the one we brought back from Denmark. So that's also either a breakfast or lunch option on some bread. We have plenty of rye bread and homemade bread rolls, different types in the freezer. This is Wannabe Laughing Cow. We still have quite a few eggs left. I think actually I'll have some of those today, together with this leftover from dinner 2 nights ago, I believe it was. Yeah, this is some chili that my husband made from baked beans, where he added then the seasonings, especially the chili, and some cheese to make it nice and creamy. So I think I'll have that with some eggs, as I said, some bread and some vegetables. And these are some of the fruits and vegetables that we have. So still quite a few, some avocados as well. They're finally ripe, so I put them in here. And back to breakfast, what I mostly have is about half a cup of one of these with a little bit of milk in to make the consistency better, then some peanut butter and some fruit. or this one, but my husband's eating on that right now. And then this is the skin natural that I talked about. And then in here we have some more veggies and some more fruit. And then most of these veggies will be used in dinners. I'll go by what needs to be used up. And right now that would be the carrots. Then we also have most of the bag of potatoes that I bought in my last haul. They are sitting there. Additionally, we still have meat and veggies as well as bread, as I already mentioned, in the freezer. And we have a ton of stuff in the pantry, some kidney beans, a lot of tea, some noodles, passata, and yeah, various stuff, extra pasta and so on. Tonight we'll have leftovers. That was the top that maybe you noticed in the second fridge that I just showed you. I'll just boil some more potatoes. I really detest reheated potatoes. They have this really weird flavor. I don't remember what the name of the volatile compound is, but I'll try and look it up, and if I figure out, I'll put the name on the screen. Not everyone is sensitive to that, but I just truly detest it, so I would rather peel potatoes 2 days in a row and then eat them fresh each day. But yeah, the leftovers are the turkey breast that we bought in the last grocery haul. It was supposed to be wrapped in minced pork and bacon, but my husband forgot to bring the minced pork home, so we just had it with the bacon, and then he roasted it in the oven on top of some veggies, and there are still plenty of those left, so we'll just reheat all of that in the microwave. I'm also not the hugest fan of reheated meat, especially poultry, because poultry is very susceptible to what is known as warmed over flavor, which is a lipid oxidation that happens after cooking. And then it's especially pronounced once you then reheat the meat. But I hope that with the spices he put in there and the bacon and so on, and it's covered in the veggies, that it will be okay. So that's what we'll have for dinner tonight. Then we don't have anything else that really needs to be used up now because it's about to go bad. And my husband mentioned last week, hey, let's have these Mexi burgers that we had a while ago. Let's make those again soon. And today it seems like he actually remembered to bring some minced pork home. We make the Mexi burgers with minced pork, some Mexican-inspired spices, a little bit of lime juice. And then I'll bake some burger buns tomorrow, since obviously it's a no-spend week, so I can't go out and buy any. And then we will use some of the avocados that I showed you, and probably some of the red onion in there as well. And most likely that will be dinner for 2 nights. Then we have minced beef also in the freezer that we can use. But I'm thinking with the cauliflower that I bought, some of it will be used raw in lunches. But I'm thinking we can do a Thai-style curry with chicken from the freezer. I have still 1 package of chicken schnitzel that's slightly freezer burned, so it would be nice to use it. And I feel like a curry would be a good option, because then the less than ideal texture will be masked by the curry sauce. And then we will put some veggies in there, probably some onions, and maybe carrots if there's still any left by that point. And then some of the cauliflower. I feel like cauliflower goes really well with the curry sauce because it really absorbs the sauce very well. And maybe some bell pepper, I don't know. And then my husband really likes Thai curry that has a bit of potatoes in, so we'll probably put some of those in. And then we can cut down on the serving size of the rice if we want to. So if we end up making that in a few days, that will probably be dinner for another 2 nights. So that would be the 5 weeknights taken care of. Lunches one day, leftovers today. Then Mexi burgers for 2 days, Thai style curry for 2 days. And then I just need to figure out what we'll have during the weekend. So once we are getting closer to the weekend, I'll look in the fridges again and see are any of the veggies starting to go soft. Most likely the zucchini will need to be eaten up, or at least we should start eating it by that point. So I might figure something out with meat that we have in the freezer that will go well with the zucchini. So that could just be roasting some of the chicken breast on the bone in the oven.
Make some homemade fries, what's it called? Like
Rustic style homemade fries, and then roast some veggies in the oven. I feel like zucchini is decent for that as well. But it goes really well in a meat sauce. So maybe we could have spaghetti bolognese and put some shredded zucchini in the meat sauce. I don't know that yet. But yeah, I'll take stock once we get closer to the weekend, and I'll of course also listen to if my husband says, oh, I really feel like eating this or that, then we can do that. And if all else fails, we also have still a few pizza slices in the freezer. So if we just supplement with a little bit of something, I think we have 3 fairly big slices, and usually we would have 2 each with some veggies. So maybe if we have, if the meat packages that he brings home today that we make the Mexi Burger patties out, if they're bigger than what we would normally make and there's 1 patty left over, maybe I would thaw the 3 slices of pizza, and then we could split just the patty on the side as well if there's 1 left over. So that could be an idea as well. And also, before we went to Denmark for nationals, I froze down 2 portions of rice pudding. I've never tried it before, but from what I could see online, it should freeze fairly well. So that's also an option. If we really don't feel like cooking, we can thaw that and have it. The traditional Danish way of eating, if you eat the rice pudding or porridge as a dinner, it's that you take some porridge rice, which is sort of similar to risotto rice, and you boil them in milk with a pinch of salt, and then you eat it warm with a dollop of butter in the middle, and then cinnamon sugar on top, and then you can drink one of those light malted beers with it. I showed you that malted beer in a couple of previous videos. So that's an option as well. So yeah, that's what I do when I meal plan. I take stock of what we have, what needs to be used up. If I go grocery shopping, I look in the flyers, take stock of what's on sale, and then plan my meals around what needs to be used up, what I can get at a good price, and so on. And then also, what do we feel like eating? But we really try to not throw anything away. So if we have any leftovers from dinners that are not being eaten as leftovers the next night, either I or my husband, usually me, I'll then have them for lunch. My husband's lunches are usually a piece of bread of some sort. It could be the rye bread or a homemade roll of some sort with some meat, maybe some cheese, some veggies on the side, and then I pack a piece of fruit for him for dessert as well. Generally, for my own diet, not diet as in trying to lose weight, but diet as in how I eat. On most days, I try to get at least 2 pieces of fruit or berries, and then about 400 grams of veggies. I don't really weigh them as such, but what I do is I usually have a piece of fruit with my breakfast and with my training, and then I'll have veggies with lunch, and then for dinner when I cook, I actually weigh the veggies because my husband does count macros. So I need to weigh out what I cook for dinner so that he can put it in his app. So I try to put like 500 to 600 grams of veggies in a dinner for one night for the 2 of us. So I believe that should get me to the combined 600 grams of fruits and veggies for the day. That's the Danish/Nordic nutrition recommendation at least. Yeah, and then I try to get some protein with every meal, and then I also consider how much fiber I get. So if I have a day, and that happens obviously, for instance, if we have rice pudding for dinner, there's no veggies for dinner that day, so that will be a lower fiber day. Then I might try to eat rye bread for lunch because that's more fiber than just a wheat roll. And if we have another low veggie dinner, could be pasta and sausages. We'll usually fry then some sausages with some onions and then eat them with pasta and some ketchup, sort of like a student dinner, you could say. But my husband really likes sausages, so we have that sometimes. Then I will try to use whole grain pasta for that dinner. It will be more satiating, and then also for the fiber. Yeah, but yeah, enough of my rambling. If you made it all the way through to the end, thank you so much for watching. I would very much appreciate a thumbs up on my video. And if you're not already subscribed, I would be so happy if you would subscribe to my channel as well. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next one.